What if I told you that a simple penny in your pocket could be worth more than you ever imagined? Not gold, not silver, just a small copper coin, minted during one of the most powerful decades in American history. A time when factories were booming, suburbs were expanding, and the American dream was rising fast. These pennies were used for candy, newspapers, and bus fares. They were dropped, spent, and forgotten. But here's the shocking truth. A small number survived in incredible condition. And today, those rare survivors can be worth hundreds, even thousands, of times their original value. The crazy part? They don't look special, just a date, maybe a tiny mint mark, nothing flashy. Yet in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. And that one small detail can turn 1 cent into serious money, the kind that could help fund a luxury car, or even contribute toward your dream home. And the most unbelievable part? These coins could still be hiding in old jars, inherited collections, or even your loose change. So before you spend your next penny, take a closer look. Because sometimes, the smallest coin carries the biggest surprise. Welcome back to Old Coin Secrets. Coin number 1, 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The penny that entered a new decade of prosperity. The year was 1950. A new decade had just begun. America was confident. Industries were booming. Families were growing. Televisions were entering living rooms. Highways were expanding. The American dream was no longer just hope. It was becoming visible. And during this powerful moment in history, a simple copper coin was struck. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny. To most people, it was nothing more than 1 cent. Something to spend. Something to forget. But decades later, collectors see it differently. Because sometimes, the most ordinary coins hide extraordinary potential. America in 1950, the rise of a superpower. By 1950, the United States had fully stepped into global leadership. Post-war manufacturing was at full speed. Suburbs were expanding rapidly. Car ownership was rising dramatically. Consumer culture was taking off. But 1950 was also the beginning of tension. The Cold War era was intensifying. The Korean War would begin that same year. So this penny wasn't just minted during prosperity. It was minted at the edge of another global shift. It represents stability on the surface and uncertainty underneath. And that historical contrast adds depth to its story. The Lincoln Wheat design, a 40-year legacy. By 1950, the Lincoln Wheat Penny had already become iconic. Originally introduced in 1909, it had survived the Great Depression, 2 world wars, economic collapse and recovery. Its design remained strong and unchanged. Obverse, front, Abraham Lincoln facing right. In God we trust. Liberty. Date 1950. Optional mint mark below the date. Reverse, back. 2 wheat stalks. 1 cent. United States of America. Simple, recognizable, timeless, mint locations and production. The 1950 wheat penny was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia, no mint mark, over 272 million coins. Denver, D mint mark, over 334 million coins. San Francisco, S mint mark, around 118 million coins. While these numbers seem large, remember, most of these coins were heavily circulated. Few were preserved in perfect mint condition. And condition is everything. Composition, classic copper era. The 1950 penny was composed of 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19 mm. By this time, wartime steel experiments were over. The mint had fully returned to traditional copper. That rich reddish glow collectors love? That's the classic pre-1960 copper composition. Color matters more than you think. Copper coins are graded by color. Brown. Red-brown. Red. Here's the hidden secret. A brown circulated 1950 penny may only be worth a few dollars. But a fully red mint state coin? That's where prices climb dramatically. Original mint red luster is rare because copper oxidizes over time. Finding one untouched is like finding preserved history. What makes a 1950 penny valuable? Collectors evaluate several factors. Sharp hair details on Lincoln. Defined cheek and jawline. Strong wheat lines. Crisp mint mark. Original luster. No cleaning damage. Even small differences in condition can mean huge price differences. An MS-63 coin might sell for $40, but an MS-66 red example could reach thousands. That's the power of grade. Market value breakdown. Circulated condition. Very fine, $3, $7. Extremely fine, $8, $15. Uncirculated, mint state, MS-60. Brown, $15, $30. MS-63. Brown, $40, $70. MS-65. Red brown, $200, $400. MS-65 red, $700, 10,500 plus. High-end certified examples have sold for several $1,000 at auction depending on demand and eye appeal. 1 cent, multiplied by preservation and time. The cleaning trap. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning old coins. They think shiny equals valuable. In reality, shiny often means damaged. Collectors want originality, natural aging, untouched surfaces. A cleaned coin can lose most of its premium value instantly. From 1 cent to dream lifestyle? Let's be realistic. A single 1950 penny in average condition won't buy a mansion. But here's where it becomes interesting. If you discover a collection of high-grade wheat pennies, especially full red examples, the combined value could reach thousands or more. That's a luxury vacation, a vehicle down payment, investment capital, or a meaningful contribution toward your dream home. It all starts with recognizing what others ignore. Why collectors still chase it. The 1950 wheat penny represents the beginning of a new decade. The final years before the wheat design ended in 1958. Affordable entry into serious coin collecting. A stable historical piece with long-term appeal. It's part of the closing chapter of the wheat penny era. And collectors love complete sets, which means demand never disappears. A coin that lived through change. This penny may have bought a newspaper announcing the Korean War, been used in a 1950s soda machine, sat in a child's coin jar, traveled across states in someone's pocket. It has history embedded in it. Metal that witnessed the rise of suburban America. And now, decades later, it could reward the person who understands its hidden worth. The 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny may appear simple, but it marks the beginning of a powerful decade. A time when America stepped into modern prosperity. And while millions were minted, far fewer survived in true mint condition. So the next time you see a 1950 penny, don't rush to spend it. Check the mint mark. Look at the color. Examine the details. Because sometimes, the smallest coins carry the biggest surprises. Coin number 2. 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny. A penny from the heart of the 1950s boom. By 1951, America was moving fast. Factories were loud. Highways were stretching across states. Suburbs were multiplying. And televisions were glowing inside living rooms for the very first time. The country was confident. But while the world focused on progress, something small and almost invisible continued to move quietly through daily life. A copper coin worth just 1 cent. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny. It paid for newspapers. It bought candy bars. It disappeared into jars and drawers. And yet, decades later, collectors look at this humble penny with a very different perspective. Because in the right condition, and with the right mint mark, this ordinary coin can turn into something surprisingly valuable. America in 1951. Confidence and Cold War tension. The year 1951 sits in an interesting place in history. The Korean War was underway. The Cold War was intensifying. Military production was active again. Yet the domestic economy remained strong. America was balancing prosperity with global responsibility. This penny represents that exact moment. Stability at home, tension abroad. And coins minted during these transitional periods often gain long-term historical appeal. The wheat penny legacy. By 1951, the Lincoln wheat design had been in use for over 40 years. It had survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, massive economic shifts. Its design remained classic and unchanged. Obverse, front, Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait. In God we trust. Liberty. Date, 1951. Optional mint mark below the date. Reverse, back. 2 wheat stalks. 1 cent. United States of America. Simple, strong, recognizable, and nearing the final chapter of its run. Since the wheat reverse would end in 1958. Mint locations and production numbers. The 1951 wheat penny was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia, no mint mark, over 284 million coins. Denver, D mint mark, over 625 million coins. San Francisco, S mint mark, around 136 million coins. At first glance, these mintages seem very high, especially Denver. But remember, high mintage does not equal high survival in perfect condition. Most were circulated heavily. Few were preserved untouched. And that's where value begins to separate. Composition and technical details. 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19 mm. This is the classic copper era, before composition changes in later decades. Collectors love this period because copper coins age beautifully when preserved correctly. That deep red glow? That's where the money is. Color, the secret multiplier. Copper coins are graded by color. Brown. Red-brown. Red. A brown 1951 penny might only be worth a small premium over face value. But a full red mint state example? That's when values can climb into the hundreds, even thousands, depending on grade. Copper naturally darkens over time, so original red luster after 70+ years is rare. And rarity creates demand. What collectors examine. When grading a 1951 wheat penny, experts check hair detail above Lincoln's ear, cheekbone sharpness, jawline clarity, crisp lettering, strong wheat lines, mint mark placement and strength, surface preservation. Small differences in grade can create huge price differences. An MS-63 might sell for under $100. An MS-66 red could sell for thousands. Condition is everything. Value breakdown. Circulated coins. Very fine, $3, $8. Extremely fine, $10, $18. Uncirculated, mint state, MS-60. Brown, $15, $30. MS-63. Brown, $40, 75 oil. MS-65. Red-brown, $200, $400. MS-65 red, $800, 10 through 350 plols. Higher certified grades, MS-66 red or better, can exceed several $1,000s, depending on demand and eye appeal, from 1 cent to serious money. The most common mistake. People often clean old pennies to improve them. But in coin collecting, cleaning destroys value. Collectors want original surfaces, natural toning, untouched luster. A cleaned coin can lose 70–90% of its collectible premium instantly. Never polish history. Could it really help fund a dream life? Let's think bigger. One 1951 penny alone may not buy a mansion, but imagine discovering a roll of original red 1951 pennies, or a small inherited collection, or multiple high-grade examples certified professionally. The combined value could reach thousands, even tens of thousands over time. That's investment potential. That's financial leverage. That's opportunity hiding in plain sight. Luxury isn't always loud. Sometimes it begins quietly, with one small coin. Why collectors still chase the 1951? The 1951 wheat penny holds importance because it's part of the final wheat series decade. It represents early 1950s prosperity. It's affordable for beginners but valuable in high grade. It offers strong registry set competition among collectors. High-grade red examples are especially competitive in auctions, and competition drives prices higher. A silent traveler through time. This penny may have bought a 1950s soda, traveled through military bases, sat inside a child's piggy bank, been forgotten in a dresser drawer for decades. It has lived history, and today it may reward the person who recognizes what others overlook. Final reflection. The 1951 Lincoln Wheat Penny isn't famous for dramatic errors or extreme rarity. Its power lies in condition. Its strength lies in preservation. Its potential lies in patience. It represents a booming America, confident, expanding and stepping into modernity. So next time you see a 1951 penny, don't dismiss it. Check the mint mark. Look at the color. Inspect the detail. Because sometimes, the smallest coin in your pocket could be the beginning of something much bigger. Coin number 3. 1949 D Lincoln Wheat Penny. A post-war penny with hidden power. The 1949 D Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at a time when America was stepping into a brand new era. The war was over. Factories were booming. Families were growing. Suburbs were expanding. The world was rebuilding. And this coin was quietly circulating through it all. It may not scream rarity at first glance, but in the right condition, it becomes something far more powerful. America in 1949, a nation reborn. By 1949, the United States had fully entered the post-World War II economic expansion. Soldiers had returned home. The GI Bill was helping families buy houses. Manufacturing was booming. Consumer spending was rising. The American dream was no longer just a slogan. It was becoming reality. And in the middle of this transformation, billions of pennies were used daily for milk, newspapers, candy, bus fares, and groceries. The 1949 D penny was part of that everyday life. But while millions were spent and worn down, Only a small percentage survived in pristine condition. And that's where the story changes. The Lincoln Wheat design, a timeless classic. By 1949, the Lincoln Wheat Penny design had already been in circulation for 40 years. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real, historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln. Obverse, front. Portrait of Abraham Lincoln. In God we trust. Liberty. Date 1949. Small D mint mark below the date. Reverse, back. 2 wheat stalks. 1 cent. United States of America. This design symbolized stability, tradition, and national identity. The Denver Mint, the meaning of D. The small D mint mark means this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Denver produced approximately 153 million 1949 D wheat pennies. Now that number may sound large. And yes, compared to ultra-rare pennies it is. But here's what collectors understand. High mintage does not mean high survival in perfect condition. Most of these coins entered heavy circulation immediately. They were used daily, dropped, scratched, worn down. Today, finding one in true mint state, especially with full red color, is far more difficult than people realize. Composition and technical details. Composition, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19 mm. By 1949, the mint had returned to normal copper composition after wartime metal shortages. This means the 1949 D penny carries that classic rich copper tone collectors love. And color plays a massive role in value. Color categories. The hidden multiplier. Collectors divide copper coins into 3 main color designations. Brown, mostly darkened from oxidation. Red-brown, partial original red luster. Red, full original mint red shine. Here's where things get interesting. A brown circulated coin might be worth only a few dollars. But a full red mint state example? That's where values can jump dramatically. What collectors look for. When grading a 1949 D wheat penny, experts inspect. Sharp hair detail above Lincoln's ear. Defined cheek and jawline. Crisp lettering. Clear wheat lines on reverse. Strong centered D mint mark. Original luster. Any cleaning, polishing, or scratches can destroy significant value. Original untouched surfaces are everything. Value breakdown, from pocket change to serious money. Let's talk real numbers. Circulated condition. Extremely fine, $8, $15. Uncirculated, mint state, MS60. Brown, $20, 35 volt. MS63. Brown, $50, $82. MS65 red brown, $250, $500. MS65 red, $800, $1,500 plus. Higher grades like MS66. Red can reach several $1,000 at auction depending on demand. 1 cent, turning into thousands. The biggest mistake people make. Many people try to clean old pennies to make them shiny. This is the fastest way to destroy value. Collectors prefer natural toning, original luster, no harsh cleaning. A cleaned coin might lose 70 and 90% of its potential collector value. Never polish history. Why collectors still chase it? The 1949 D represents post-war economic optimism. Classic copper-era coinage. Affordable entry into high-grade collecting. A bridge between history and investment. It's not just about rarity. It's about condition and preservation. That's what separates a common penny from a premium collectible. A silent witness to history. This coin may have passed through the hands of returning soldiers, been used in newly built suburban neighborhoods, bought candy for children in the 1950s, sat in jars for decades. It has lived a life, and now, decades later, it could reward the person who recognizes its hidden value. The 1949 D Lincoln Wheat Penny might look ordinary, but history has a way of hiding power in small things. If you find one, especially with bright red color and sharp details, pause before spending it. Examine it carefully, because what looks like 1 cent could actually be a small piece of America's golden era, and possibly a stepping stone toward something much bigger.